And we can see now that atheists, that they don't have objective meaning with life, and their real subjective meaning of life is also an illusion. When many atheists really ponders and thinks about these things, they can see that their lives are really saddening, to be honest. If you think about the broader picture, how they believe that this universe has been around for 13.7 billion years, and they will only live here for 60, 70, 80 years maybe, and then they will die and no one will remember them, and they will be eaten by worms. There will be skeletons, and everything that they strive for has no purpose. If they really ponder upon these things, it becomes very, very depressing. Especially if you have to cope with hardships in life, hardships with life. Because atheists say, no, I have a subjective meaning with life. I have a subjective thing that I want to do in my life. I want to get married and have kids. Okay, you get divorced. This was your purpose with life. Now you don't have it. How can you live on? What do you have now? My purpose of life is to make a career. Okay, you didn't make a career. You didn't get the job you wanted. My purpose of life is to build up a big business. Okay, the business crashed. What to do now? If you only build your life on these smaller meanings that they say, the subjective meanings of life, then everything will become useless in the end of the day. And that's one of the reasons, I think, that we can see that people that are atheists, they usually use alcohol or narcotics or antidepressive medicine. Because lying there on the bed in the end of the evening, in the end of the night, and you're thinking about things in life, where you're going, that everything will end, and so on. If you really think about these things, it becomes really depressing. You have to drug yourself with things that they do, or with different things of dunya, so they can feel a bit of happiness in their life. But in the end of the day, like I mentioned, it becomes an illusion. And we can see the opposite with a Muslim. Even if a Muslim has a specific subjective meaning in his life, something that he wants to accomplish, he wants to have a family, and then his family died, what does a Muslim say? قَدَّرَ اللَّهُ مَا شَاءَ فَعَلَ. He becomes sad, of course. But in the end of the day, he knows there is a wisdom behind that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the creator, has knowledge about everything, and everything that happens with a wisdom. And he returns back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he says, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. We belong to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we will return to him. And he can live on with his life, because he knows that there's a broader picture, there's a broader meaning of life. So he does not become depressed of that. Of course, there can be reasons why a Muslim becomes depressed, but I'm speaking about if we really ponder upon these things, we know that there's a greater purpose, and there's much easier to cope with these hardships in life.